everyone. So I'm in my car driving to my doctor's office. I am hands-free, if you will, and this is how I'm going to make my TTC, how I got pregnant video. My babies are in their back, they're quiet, and so I don't ever usually have time to sit down and talk. This is for educational purposes only. If I don't answer all of your questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can. And if you have a weak stomach or you don't want to hear about menstrual cycles, intercourse, or anything like that, click out now. Okay, so for those of you who are still around and who have been waiting for this video, thank you so much for all of your patience. I am so sorry it's taken me so long, but if you can imagine, I am so busy all day long. So, with that being said, okay, so my husband and I got together in 2006, and we got married in 2013, but we had been trying, if you will, since we were dating. And so I never had a cycle, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't having a cycle. I would have a menstrual period whenever I took progesterone, which is Provera, which is progesterone. And so I would go see a nurse practitioner for whenever I had my yearly checkups, and everything came back normal, but no one could explain why I wasn't having a period. Their excuses to me were, some people just don't have a period. It's okay. Just silly excuses as to why I wasn't having a period, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So at that point, I didn't have reproductive insurance. So I just let it go. And so we got all of our, good days out of the way, if you will. I mean, not to say we're not having good days now, but, I could pack up and leave. I could go on vacation. I could, whatever, and not have to worry about a baby or worry about, what I was going to do or, whatever. So, anyway, 2014, I applied for insurance and I was approved. So in 2015, is when my insurance went into effect. So I started seeing, now let's pause for a second. Whenever I was taking birth, I would take birth control or Provera, and those would both make me have a cycle. But I would never have a cycle by myself. So then whenever I started seeing, I went to see a reproductive endocrinologist. And so we started out with ultrasounds to figure out what my uterus looked like, to see if I had PCOS. But PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it can cause a number of things for you to not get pregnant. It causes cysts on your ovaries, and they don't drop, and you don't ovulate, obviously. But there's, so many things that could cause you to not get pregnant. So we ruled out PCOS. And so, my uterus was in perfect condition as far as my lining. It wasn't thick, which means that I wasn't building up my lining. And at that point, I hadn't had a cycle in 6 years. And so I didn't ever enforce it. I'm just going to pull the camera up a little bit. I never enforced it just because it was nice not to have a period. Although I wanted a baby, it was really nice not to have to bleed for, Oh, they're having a farmer's market. How nice. So I didn't give it much thought. I didn't, whatever. So fast forward. So we're at the endocrinologist. And my blood work came back normal. I had really good egg quality. I had good egg quantity. And so at this point, our first step was to try Clomid. So that's what we did. Bless you. I'm lost. Okay, never mind. I got sidetracked for a second. So I tried Clomid, to grow my follicles, which are your eggs that are resting. So I grew my, they never grew on Clomid. I did 50 milligrams the first time. And then I had ultrasounds every other day, to check the quality, or check the size of my ovaries. And so I, went back again and did another round of Clomid, and this time I was taking 100 milligrams, and my eggs still didn't grow. My eggs still didn't grow the way they wanted them to grow. So I started letrozole, which is also a breast cancer medication. It is an estrogen blocker. So before I did Clomid, or before I did the letrozole, I did an HSG test, which means they go in and they plug your cervix. He injects some dye into your uterus, and then he plugs your cervix and see where the this dye comes out. And my dye came out of my tubes, which means both of my tubes were 100% open. So and I'm arriving at my destination. So everything was fine, and then sorry. So then I started letrozole, and the letrozole I took, I think for 5 or 7 days, I can't remember. I have a calendar that has everything on it. I just didn't grab it. And the letrozole made me sweat day in and day out. When I mean sweat, I mean I was so dehydrated. Although I was drinking almost a whole gallon of water a day, I sweat so much that I couldn't produce tears anymore. So I called my endocrinologist again, and I was like, look, I can't produce tears, and I'm really sick of this. So he called me in some antidepressants. I know this is crazy. I wasn't depressed, but it worked. And that night I took it, and the sweats were gone. And I had been off letrozole for a good 2-3 weeks at this point. And because I wanted to wait. I had to have a cycle, and then you have to wait. So then I started a medication called Gonal-F. They're injections, so I would inject my stomach or a place in my stomach, and I would take it every day at a certain time, and then I would go back for my daily or my every other day ultrasounds. And so I took it for a while, because I went from 75 to 100, 150 to 200 to 225. And so you have to do that over like a 2-week span. Or, everyone was like a 2-week span. So it started in May. And then by June 30th, at this point, June 23rd, I took my last June 22nd, I took my last injection. June 23rd, I took my trigger shot, which is Ovidrel, and I ovulated, and I got pregnant, and I found out July 4th that I was pregnant, and my levels never increased more than 391.1. So on July 29th, I had to go and have a DNC. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. I'm not going to cry in this video. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I didn't like to talk about it much, and I didn't go back to work for a while just because I was so hurt. So then August 17th, I started my Ovidrel again, or not my Ovidrel, but my Gonal-F. And so I had my medications shipped to me, and so whenever I had, I ran out is what happened. And so they ended up shipping me some, and then I took that medication. I ran out, and then I went back to the doctor, and he was like, look, I have some Follistim that someone donated. It's still good. I have it here in the fridge. So he actually gave me the last bit of my medication. Thank the Lord. So I triggered on August 30th, and that's the day I got pregnant. And the rest is history. Now I have 3 beautiful babies. They're healthy, they're growing, they're thriving, and I couldn't have asked for a better pregnancy or a better OBGYN. And so, anyways, so let's back up a little bit. I have a couple minutes before I have to walk in. So whenever I was in the span of the few years that I had not seen a doctor and I was trying to get pregnant, a really good friend of mine got pregnant naturally whenever she had infertility issues. And she would use olive oil for a lubricant, because whenever you go to the store and you buy lube, or, you know, that's what we call it, or, you know, lubrication to have intercourse, you're stuffing chemicals into your body. Olive oil is pure and it's natural, and it does no harm to your body. Oh, and another thing, we were using Pre-Seed, and whenever I got pregnant, both times we used Pre-Seed, and it's just a lube. We got it here at CVS. I don't know if you can get it at Walgreens. We have a Walgreens at CVS. Walmart does not carry it. They claim that they carry it, but they do not. And it was well worth the $20 that we paid for it. So, if you guys have any other questions, just let me know. I'll be more than glad to answer them. If I didn't answer all of your questions, I'm so sorry. I have not gone back to read all the comments, but I had a mental note of things that I needed to talk about. So, I hope you guys are well, and I am going to be making another video, as far as like what we do on a daily routine, like our morning routine. That's what I want to film. I may do our nighttime routine, but my husband is home and he's kind of like, you're filming, don't be weird. Anyways, like I said, I hope you guys are well, and we will see you guys in the next video.